Sometimes I feel like traveling is just doing what I already do, which is taking care of my kids in a different location where it's harder to do it. And so I'm always a little afraid, like, is this trip gonna be worth it? Am I gonna be able to handle it? What happens if the baby's freaking out on the airplane and they cry and then I cry? Do I wanna do this?
When we were young, running from all things at once, without thinking twice. And I knew it would catch up, and that we would be the ones left behind. The stories I've been told.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and happy 2022. So good to have you. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, I'm so thankful you came back. Today's video is all about how to travel. We're gonna have tips, how to travel with a family, but we're gonna have tips for ages 6 and under because I just recently went to Colorado and then Michigan with all 3 kids. We've got a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And I've done a lot of traveling with a baby. Back when Eloise, my oldest, was little, we did over 100 flights by the time she was 2, I think, right? So what I've done with my friend Becca here, who helps me with these videos, is I've compiled a whole bunch of tips. We'll go in sections. We'll go like little baby, toddler, older kid, and I'll just give you the best that I have of tips to make your traveling easier if you have a trip specifically where you're going to be flying, but some of this will apply for if you're driving or going by boat or train. I don't know how you're getting where you're going. And first off, just thank you so much for those of you shopping Very Good Mothers Club, the small business that we have. We're so grateful. A lot of you bought Christmas gifts for loved ones. We saw it, we packed them, we shipped them, and we're just super thankful for that. I make content for growing families. And so if you are having kids or you're gonna be having kids or you want some support in your parenting journey, we have 2 opportunities for you to connect with other people in a similar stage of life. So one is a free Facebook group, Jess Hover and Friends. There's about 10,000 people in there now. So it's gonna be a variety of stuff going on in there. Really good people. If you have a question and you want input from a lot of voices, come on over. You will want to answer the questions before you get in so we know you're a real person, and then welcome. We also have a paid community. This is a smaller group, much more exclusive, lots of great people, resources in there. I'm in there a lot more often than I am in the Facebook group. So if you want more access to me personally, I'm in this group. And that is verygoodmothersclubhouse.com. So that's a community that we started just a few months ago. It's new, it's growing, it's been really great, and we'd love to have you there. If you are somebody who wants more of my family, you can follow me on Instagram at Jess_Hover. We post more like personal real life stuff there. Before I jump into the content of this video, I want to first thank today's sponsor. When the package from Dime Beauty arrived to my house and I opened it up, I squealed. I felt like it was Christmas. There are a few things that I get super excited about. Skincare products, especially anything related to like anti-aging for the face. I have just sort of a weird obsession with. Dime Beauty Co. just really did it for me. Luxury skincare, beauty, and wellness products at affordable prices. Their products come in little glass bottles, so they're eco-friendly. Using them, I mean, they feel so high quality. And the first day that I had put them on, Becca, who sees me every single day, she helps me with this channel and we own our business together. She was like, what did you do on your skin? Your skin is looking so good. And I was like, is it looking dewy? Because they said it would look dewy. And she was like, yeah, it really is. So I am sold. Vegan, cruelty-free, made with no harsh chemicals. They offer lots of products that are fragrance-free. Fragrances can sometimes clog your pores. They can be harsh on the skin. Free shipping on US orders over $49. That is so great. A lot of these products are safe during breastfeeding and pregnancy, which many beauty products from other brands are not. Obviously, you would want to check with your doctor to make sure, because I can't tell you what to do. I'm gonna show you this product, the Super Firm Serum. It really surprised me because, I watched a video about it and they basically called it like a spot treatment for fine lines and wrinkles. So you see spot treatments all the time for pimples and acne, but this is for fine lines and wrinkles. I'm looking at you like, right, Mom? Becca's here, she's helping me. It has 4 benefits. The first is that it is tightening and firming, which you actually feel on your face. I usually put it like right here. So it helps to accelerate collagen and elastin production. Put it here, put it like here. And it works to limit muscle contraction. So it sort of like freezes your face a little bit, but in a very natural way. And it feels like tight. And it's so lovely. Pretty. So lovely. Now I'm gonna put on my dewy day cream so I can start my day. If you want Dime Beauty Co. products, which I think you do, you can click my link below and you will get 20% off if you use my code, and then we can have dewy, beautiful skin together. Okay, thanks so much. Now to the video. Here we are. Let's talk about how to travel with a family. Though I've traveled with my family a lot, like with Eloise, I traveled a lot. In fact, many flights I did were just her and I together. I did international flights to and from Spain, from California by myself with her. So there's that. We just did as a whole family with Sean included. I flew back from Michigan recently with Becca and Jules, so only one baby and a friend. Every time we travel, road trip too. We did some road trips as a family. Did a road trip with Becca and Jules last year. Just running through all these things. I'm always anxious, always scared, always wonder if it's gonna be worth it. Sometimes I feel like traveling is just doing what I already do, which is taking care of my kids in a different location where it's harder to do it. And so I'm always a little afraid, like, is this trip gonna be worth it? Am I gonna be able to handle it? What happens if the baby's freaking out on the airplane and they cry and then I cry? Like, do I wanna do this? Most of the time, it's worth it. Traveling as a family is so fun, makes special memories, especially if you're going to see loved ones and you've got extra hands to help you and extra hearts to love your kids with you. I think overall it's worth it. If you are somebody who feels anxious though, welcome to the team. It is something that, brings about some anxiety. What I'm gonna tell you now though is going to help minimize the anxiety while you travel. One is packing. Okay, when it comes to packing, you got a lot to think through. You just know that you're amazing when you pack, because this is so much. Thinking through your own needs and now your little one's needs. Maybe you've got more than one kid you're thinking about. It's a big deal. So what I try and do is, say we're traveling with like a big suitcase. Within that big suitcase, I'm gonna be packing for each person individually in their own bag. And what I use is a packing cube. My friend Carly Chrisman, who's an amazing traveler, she turned me on to the idea of these little packing cubes. You can get them on Amazon. And so each kid got their own cube that I filled up with their clothes. If I'm going somewhere where I know that I'm gonna be able to wash clothes, then I will pack enough for about a week. I guess it depends on how long you're going for. But like, for example, we just traveled and we were at each place over a week, but I packed only enough for 1 week. So that meant I packed like a couple pairs of pants and shirts for the whole week. Or, the younger your kids are, you're gonna wanna pack a few additional outfits, because maybe in one day you're gonna need a change of clothes in case some sort of mess happens, or a poop explosion, or they spit up all over themselves. Sean said that while he was traveling back recently with Wilson and Eloise, they were on their layover. Wilson's 2, and we forgot to pack him another pair of clothes. Sean forgot to pack it, and he poop exploded all over, and it took 30 minutes to clean him up, and he was just disgusting, and he smelled like poop the whole way home. Lesson learned here, you're going to want to pack some additional outfits along with the 1 week of clothes if you have younger kids. And then whatever you bring in the carry-on, make sure you have an additional change of clothes for those little guys, just in case you need it for the plane, because you might. Oh, something cool to think about is wherever you're going, can you borrow stuff? So like in my recent trips, I was visiting family and they also had young kids. So some of the cold weather necessities that I would have needed, I didn't pack because I could just borrow once we got there. Sleeping is the key to life. I spend so much energy making sure that my kids are good sleepers, because if they sleep, then I sleep. And if I sleep, the whole world goes round. And when I don't sleep as well, we all feel it, mostly me. So sleep. What does your child need to be the best sleeper that they can be? And obviously that depends on how old your baby is and how developed they are and how maybe sleep trained they are, if that's something you guys care about. So if you have a little tiny baby, obviously they're gonna be waking up in the night probably a whole bunch of times, and that's normal. But what you're thinking through is, what do they need to sleep in the best way possible? So are you a family that likes sound machines? I happen to love sound machines. I think they're fantastic. And so if you are, then you bring a sound machine. If your baby's in a swaddle, or if they're in a sleep sack, or if they need a special blanket, you want to bring the things that are going to be the keys to unlocking amazing sleep for your little ones. Pack those. But what I have learned is that sometimes airlines lose luggage for a day or two. It doesn't happen all the time, hasn't happened to me in a long while. But what I started doing to protect myself from that is I pack the most important things in my carry-on. So I travel with my carry-on. Inside of there, I have Wilson's favorite little bear that I know he's gonna need to sleep, and that he would feel really bothered if he didn't have it for bedtime. So I pack that in there, his favorite blanket, or my little girl Jules, she sleeps in a sleep sack. So I make sure that that is packed with me on the plane. That way, if the luggage is lost, my sleep is not lost. And oh, a mistake that I made, but you know who didn't make this mistake? Okay, if you watch my travel vlog, I talked about how while we were traveling, my daughter was having a meltdown. She was crying, I was crying, she ate a pretzel off the floor, all while a Montessori family sat just right here. They were incredible. They thought through every detail. Their daughter, who was just a little bit older than Jules, just took her little lovey and just put it over her eyes and just slept on her parents like that. The parents brought this like beautiful little bento box of snacks that were probably organic, and it was just so perfect. And they brought a notebook with stickers. They were incredible. I don't think they did anything wrong. Most of these tips I probably got from them. Hopefully they start a channel with more tips. A mistake that I made that I'm certain would put money on it that Montessori mom did not make this mistake, is that I forgot to think about where Wilson was gonna sleep when we land, because Wilson still sleeps in a crib. He really likes it, he prefers it, he doesn't climb out of it. It works for us, so that's what he's doing. I didn't think about the fact that when we got to my sister's house, we would need a pack and play for Wilson, because they said they had one crib, but I forgot that I have two kids who like to sleep in cribs, and they definitely don't sleep in the crib together. So we got there and they had a floor bed made for Wilson, which was so nice and cute, but Wilson has never had that much excitement and stimulation and freedom. And so the first night was horrible. No sleep happened for most of us because little guy just couldn't sleep in that little floor mattress. Now, Montessori family did not make that mistake. I never asked him about it, but I'm pretty certain they would have considered that because they brought a bento box. People who do that, they know where their baby's gonna sleep upon arrival. So think about that. Where do you want your little one to sleep? If your little one co-sleeps with you, or sleeps in a crib, or sleeps on a floor, like, I don't know, you know. Just think about that so that when you get there, you have it. Alert your family or your friends or whoever you're going to see, or if you're staying in a hotel, you could call them, because a lot of times they have cribs you can reserve. There's usually a small number of them. We ended up getting that sorted out. The rest of our trip was really smooth because we got another pack and play for Wilson to be able to use. And then when we went to Sean's parents' house, they had this amazing little toddler inflatable air mattress thing that was an air mattress on the floor, but it came up on the sides. So even though he could climb out, he just likes the sides. It was like a good barrier for him, and he didn't come out. So that was really cool. Recommend those. I should link them if I can find them. For the flight, here, let's talk little baby. You're gonna arrive to the airport, you're going to check yourself in. One thing you wanna consider is what airline are you going to fly? If you're in the States and you are choosing an airline that is a domestic, my personal recommendation is Southwest Airlines. You'll need to go directly through Southwest. I don't think you can book them on Google Flights or whatever, but they have been above and beyond every time that we've flown with them. They let you bring 2 free checked bags. You can choose your seats. They have a special time where they board families, so they don't assign seating on Southwest. But if you're traveling with kids 6 and under, you get to go at a special time, choose your seats. They're really nice. They serve drinks and snacks, and we just have had no issues. Also, they give you the ability to cancel your flight last minute if, say, your family gets COVID, which had happened to us recently, and it was just fantastic. And then they credit that money back into your Southwest account, so then you can rebook flights for a later time whenever you're able to fly again. Whatever airline you choose, you are going to check yourself in. If you're bringing a car seat with you, when you check your bags, you're also going to check in the car seat at that point. You can bring a stroller. We used recently a little tiny small umbrella stroller that we only use for traveling like that, and it was really helpful. You don't check that in at first. You can just have your little one inside the stroller, check the bags, check the car seat if you want, stroll on into the airport. The stroller was helpful for us because not only did both Jules and Wilson switch out who was in there, but we were able to hang some bags on it and store some stuff under it. And then when you get to the gate, they're going to gate check your stroller. So when you find your gate, you go right up there and you say, I need to gate check this, and they'll put a little tag on it. And then when it's your turn to board, you'll go down the jet bridge. Is that what it's called? Jet bridge? Okay, jet bridge. You're gonna go down the jet bridge. They'll have a little area and they say just fold down your stroller and leave it there. Airlines will tell you they are responsible for lost strollers and car seats, but not damaged strollers or car seats. So if you're concerned at all about your stuff getting damaged, then you can get travel bags for them. You could get them on Amazon or anywhere good. Probably Target has them too. And that will be something you can store your stuff in. We've gone both ways. We've used them sometimes, we've not used them sometimes. The damage definitely does happen, but it wasn't severe. This time around, we didn't have a bag for our little stroller, and the stroller was totally fine. And so when you fly, then the stroller is stored, and then when you get off the plane, they'll have the stroller waiting for you at the jet bridge place just where you dropped it off, and then you can whip it out and put your little one in there. When you're going through security, there's a few things you could know. So one thing is, if you know you're going to be traveling like in a few months, and maybe you're somebody who flies fairly frequently, you could apply for pre-check. That's what our family did recently, thanks to the lovely Becca recommending that to us. We paid, was it like $80 a person? You have to go apply for it. It's a bit of a process, but it actually was very smooth, so easy compared to like getting a passport or something. And then you never have to go through the normal security line. Once you have it, for 5 years, you and your family are able to go through this expedited security process where you don't have to take off your shoes, you don't have to do all the hoopla of everything. It's just so much easier. Go, they know who you are, inside you go, and it's really smooth. I will say, I thought that if you wore the baby in the carrier, then you don't have to take off the carrier to go through security. I've done this a lot and I never had to take off the carrier, but this time around I wore the carrier from Sakura Bloom that has a metal ring on it, and it kept setting off the alarm thing, so they made me take Jules out of that. So I guess maybe don't wear that one in the airport, or just be prepared to not wear her through security because you are gonna have to take her off. If you're gonna bring the stroller and wear your baby, that might seem a bit excessive. The nice thing is then you could put your stuff in the stroller, like a bag or something, and push through. It just depends on like what layovers are you gonna be having. Are you gonna have long ones? Because having a stroller is really helpful if you're gonna be walking around an airport for a while. But if you don't have long layovers, then I found wearing your baby in the carrier could work just fine. As far as time of day that you fly, this is really a personal preference. For me, I found my kids don't do as well flying and sleeping. I thought maybe if I booked it like for a later time of day, they'd be so tired they would sleep on the plane. That was true for Eloise because now she's so used to it. She's comfortable sleeping on a plane. But for Wilson and Jules, who are really new to flying, it was so stimulating that it was very hard for them to nap. Jules did not nap at all on the planes, and Wilson napped one flight, but he was really exhausted. So we did one really like later in the evening flight, and I wished we didn't do that because then it messed up all sleeping after. So for us, it was best to do our flights during the daytime. Even if it messed up their napping sleep, they still kind of figured that out at night and caught back up. Also, because if you're traveling at night, you're tired as the parent usually, and so then when you're both tired and struggling, it just is harder to take care of your little one. In your carry-on, make sure you've got diapers and wipes. Make sure you have snacks, tons of snacks. For me, snacks, they serve a bunch of roles. One it's just good to have you guys fed so you feel your best while you're flying. Secondly, it's something to do. It's something for the kids to be playing with. For Jules, it was fun for her to like stick her hand into a bag and pull something out. It's also something where right now, because little ones are required to wear masks if they're 2 and up. For us, sometimes that was hard for Wilson to do. And so if he was able to eat, then he didn't have to be wearing his mask because you were allowed to take it down for eating. So that was another way that he could not be wearing his mask, but actually be productive, if that makes sense. It's entertaining. It gives them something to do and enjoy for a while on the flight, which is very helpful when you have long flights. Takeoff and landing, I think this applies to all ages, but it really affects the young ones. There's going to be pressure on their ears. So what you can do to help relieve some of that pressure is make sure they have a pacifier, or they're breastfeeding, or they're formula feeding, or they're eating or drinking something that's going to help relieve the pain that they feel on takeoff and landing. If they scream their head off for takeoff and landing, just know it's going to be okay. Try to soothe them, help them to relax a bit, but they will ultimately calm down when that pressure is released from their ears, and that'll come really soon. So like for Jules on her most recent flight, she cried both takeoff and landing, even though we offered a pacifier, we offered everything we could think of, and then eventually she just calmed right down and it was as if nothing had happened. Don't stress if your baby is freaking out, they'll calm down. As you're choosing seats, think through what you prefer. For me, I love aisle seats because then I have the freedom to get up and go to the bathroom as much as I need to, or to walk the babies around or the little ones around to give them an opportunity to get their energy out. There's often a special bathroom that has the changing table inside of it. So you could ask when you first get on the plane where that is so that you feel prepared when a diaper change is necessary. I have done secret diaper changes like on the seats right there, but they don't like that. That's technically against the rules, so I'm not telling you to do it, but I am telling you I've done it before. If possible, depending on what airline you fly, you may be able to get a full row, even if you didn't pay for a seat for your little one. In our recent trips with Southwest, you choose your seat, and we just found people didn't want to sit by us, maybe because we have little ones. And so we ended up getting an empty seat each time for Jules, even though we hadn't paid for hers. We paid for Wilson and Eloise because once they're 2, you have to buy them a seat. As far as identification goes for your little ones, they don't always ask for some sort of ID to show who the child is. Sometimes they'll ask if they aren't convinced your baby is under 2. If you have a big 1-year-old, they might do it. For Jules, they wanted to see some sort of identification, and I forgot all of them, even though I know this. And then the woman was so nice. She was a mom too. She was like, well, when's her birthday? And like a really good mom, I forgot. I was like, oh, it's October. She's like, do you know what day? I'm like, yeah, I think it's the 17th. It's like, what year? It's like, was it 2020? And she's like, well, no wonder you don't remember. 2020 was horrible. So then she's like, do you have anything that shows that she's actually born on that day? And I was like, yeah. And so I go on my phone and I open my Instagram, and it's the post of her announcement. And I'm like, she's right here. I also have a vlog if you want to see her come out of me. And the woman was laughing so hard. She's like, no, I think it's fine. I trust you. But so, you know, if you get desperate, sometimes desperation works. It worked for me. You probably just want to have something that identifies that your children are yours, especially if only one parent is traveling with a kid. It's usually actually the dad that they are more like, okay, so who's this little one and where's the mom and why are you not traveling with someone else? Now, moving on to how to entertain them on a plane. Well, if it's a little tiny baby, the advantage of having a little tiny baby is they sleep a lot. So that might be just kind of the blessing that you get, is you're on the plane and your little one does pretty well. If you have a baby that's less than a year old, but like getting in those older months, in my experience, that is the harder time to travel, just because they get a little bit bored and they want to be entertained. So if you're prepared for that, it's not a big deal. Snacks, obviously, like I said, any sort of little toys that they can play with. What some families do is they bring a new toy on and they wrap it, so then the little one has the joy of unwrapping a gift and then the joy of playing with a new toy for as long as they'll play with it. The Montessori family, I told you they did stickers with paper, and that was pretty cute. That worked for 5 minutes. You just might be spending most of your flight entertaining your little one. I had a really cute suggestion from a family member that was like, hey, when you're traveling home, maybe you want to read this book while you're on the plane. And I was like, that is so cute. That is what someone would say who doesn't know what it's like to travel with 1 or 3 young children. There's really not a lot of time for anything other than taking care of these people. So maybe lower your expectations for what you're gonna do. This probably isn't gonna be the flight that you watch a movie, but maybe it is. But if it is, you might end up watching like Encanto with your kids, which is a great movie. Definitely will be fun. Okay, movies, TV shows. If you have a phone or a tablet or something that you're comfortable with your child using, a laptop too, but in my experience, I downloaded some movies on the laptop for Eloise, and then Wilson and Jules just wanted to type away, and then it just ruined the whole thing. So we ended up putting that away. But if you have a phone or a tablet and you want your kid to watch something, that could work. Little Baby Bum or Cocomelon are these highly addictive little kid shows. They really might keep your kids' attention for a long while. Especially as they get older, then that's kind of the beauty of technology like that, is they'll sit and chill and watch something for a time. Older kids, definitely like Eloise, would be happy to watch a whole movie on an airplane and eat some yummy snacks and just have a good time. You need to think through some details, like if they have your phone, you don't have it, so make sure you bring something else for yourself if they're gonna be using it. For like Jules' age, if she had my phone, she's also just gonna like tap the screen and close out of it and has no idea what she's doing. You're gonna wanna think through headphones. They make really nice kid headphones that are like cute and thicker padded and fit their heads really nicely. We use those for Eloise a lot. We also used Beats by Dre, the giant, like, looks like a DJ headphones. We did those as well for Eloise, but this most recent trip, we didn't have enough headphones for everybody, and so I gave up before we even started, and the kids didn't watch any sort of technology. Not because I'm a Montessori mom, just because I didn't bring what I would have needed, but I thought it would have been so fun. I tried to have them watch something on the laptop. Like I said, didn't work out. Some families, when they travel, they want to bring health documents like immunization records or something with them for their children, just in case they need to go to the doctor in a new place. I've done that sometimes, and I've forgotten them sometimes. So do what feels right for you. If you want to be that prepared, then do it. And if you don't, then I'm sure you could still end up taking your kid to the doctor, and you guys could sort through details if that were to happen. Your baby and your children are hopefully probably going to be healthy on your trip and have no crisis. But if you want to be prepared, you could bring health documents with you guys. Have fun as much as you're able to. It's not always fun as a parent traveling with your kids. I mean, once you get to the place, it's hopefully fun. That's why you're doing it. But the trip itself can sometimes be challenging. Sometimes your kid does freak out on the plane. Sometimes people around you make rude comments. Rude. I had a flight where Eloise was good the whole flight. It was from Spain to the States. That is a long flight. She did not cry the whole time until the very end. When we were landing, she cried because it hurt her ears. And these people in front of us go, "And that's why I'm not having kids." And I just was like beside myself. I could not believe it. I thought it was so rude. And so, I mean, they knew that I heard them. And then actually it was sweet. This woman who sat next to them kind of defended me and was like, "Oh, actually that little girl did a lot better than a lot of kids would have. And that was really normal what just happened. And I think having kids is great." Like she tried to make it nicer for me, which was sweet. My point here though is that people are just gonna be rude. If somebody's flying on a commercial airplane, kids are gonna be on the plane. They signed up for that. They're flying a commercial airline. So they now have access to all kinds of things that can help make their trip better, knowing that when they bought the ticket, there might be a kid who cries. It might be your kid, and your kid might cry their head off, and you might wanna cry too, like I did. That person, they don't need to get all huffy puffy because they could have brought Beats by Dre, noise canceling giant headphones. They could get the little new AirPod bud things that are noise canceling. They could bring earplugs, you know? I just think it is 2022. Kids fly on airplanes. Babies fly on airplanes. That is no secret to anybody. So if they're gonna be huffy puffy, that's about them. You focus on being the best you can be. Your kids are gonna have happy memories, remembering that mom was awesome and she was so sweet and nice, and even when she lost her mind and she lost her temper, or she had just like a very normal human reaction to very normal human things, she chose to love her kiddos well, right? So I kind of remind myself in the moment, like, okay, even though we're on a fun trip, if I act depressed or anxious or just like, oh, this is so hard, that affects my kids' memory of the time that we're making. And the whole reason we're doing it is so that we can have a nice time. So maybe just self-talk yourself like, I can do this. This is going to be great. I can have a great attitude, if not for myself, for these little ones who are looking to me to tell them how this time is going. Is this time good or bad? We don't know. Let's ask mom. Mom's fine. Cool. All right, mom's fine. So do whatever you need to do to be fine. If you are a drinking alcohol type person, maybe enjoy a glass of wine on a layover. If you're not a drinking alcohol type of person, definitely don't have a glass of wine on a layover. That would be horrible. But maybe you want a coffee. Maybe you want something just delightful that brings you a bit of joy. Eat a nourishing snack. I don't know, do something that takes care of you while you take care of everyone else. I'm just here to keep you going. Well, you keep all of them going, okay? That's what I'm saying. Anything else I need to tell you? You can bring diapers with you, but you can also buy stuff. That's the thing, wherever you're going, you can probably buy stuff there. Even if you're going to a place across the world that looks entirely different from where you are right now, people there are having kids and they're doing a great job. And so we'll just adapt and figure it out as we go and just have a really great time. I think that's it. I think that's all I've got for you for older kids. They're a lot easier. Have a really fun time. Give them activities to do on the plane. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here. I hope you guys have the best trip. And if you have tips that I don't have, which I'm sure you do, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys do to make sure you have an awesome time. Oh, bring a little gift for your flight attendant. Bring like a little chocolate or something, a new unwrapped, grabbed it from the store, brought it on, and give it to your flight attendant when you first get on the plane and just say like, hey, thank you, I appreciate you. I know what you do isn't easy, and so I just thought of you and wanted to bring this to say thank you. There's usually like 2 or 3 flight attendants, so you can either bring like one big thing that they all share or bring a handful of them and give them to all of them, or you could have your little kid give it to them. What that communicates from the start is that you are not their enemy. And so if they're like, it's fasten your seatbelt time, and you're like, my little child, this happened with us, my little child just said that they're gonna poop their pants right now if they don't go use the bathroom, your flight attendant already knows that you like them and you respect them. And so they're gonna say, don't get up. But then it's your job to say, do I let my little child poop or not? And then you go, not. And then you change their diaper. Or, I mean, well, in our case, you get them to the bathroom so that you don't have to change their pants and underwear because it needs to be handled. So bring something for your flight attendant. Flight attendants work really hard. They deserve love. And sometimes they're gonna be sassy to people. And if you give them nice things, then maybe they just won't be sassy to you. It's a good thought. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. I will see you soon. Goodbye.